Hello, everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Daily, presented to you by FanArch. I am your host, Kirk MckNight, author of The Voices of Hockey. Broadcasters reflect on the fastest game on earth, coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, 2,454 miles from Little Caesars Arena. The Red Wings had a bit of a difficult time last night, losing 5-0 to the Islanders. It's the second time the Wings have lost to the Isles by a 5-goal differential. The two worst defeats of the season have been to New York, 7-2 in the first meeting and 5-0 last night. Looking at the stats, though, you'd really have to do a second take to and ask yourself, why was this a 5-0 loss? The Wings outshot the Islanders 29-26. They outhit them 23-8. They won 58.1% of the faceoffs. They were 4 for 4 on the penalty kill. Gibby had a hard time, and he held up as much as he could. The blame definitely does not need to be thrown his way. I know he's 4-6-1 on the season. Seems like a little bit of a struggle when you consider the fact that Taubes is 8-2. But there was a lot of mistakes, and Gibby honestly made the game a lot closer than it could have been. There was a lot of chances. I remember Palmieri was right on the doorstep, pretty much had as open in the net as he could want, and that just glove save just had him shaking his head, and that was in the first. Obviously the Islanders scored another 2 goals though before the end of the first and packed on another 2 early in the second, so we're really thinking this game is over when it's only halfway done, and that's just the way that they stymied them. A lot of kudos needs to go to Sorokin, 29 saves for the shutout. Again, it's the second time this season that the Red Wings have been shut out. The first time was against Schmid in Vegas. But Sorokin actually, with those 29 saves, they had plenty of good chances. So a good job to him, and a hang in there goes out to Gibby for the loss, taking the L on that one, in spite of all the saves he was able to make. Now, the game got a little ugly towards the end there. And late in the second period, it looks like Marco and Sherratt both had 10-minute misconducts. And then Marco got in a fight with Tony DeAngelo late in the third for a 5-minute major. So it got a little ugly there. It's something to reflect upon moving forward. A little frustration. Obviously, the frustration sets in, especially when you're on the losing side. So I'm sure that Marco, with that 10-minute penalty and that 5-minute major, was obviously voicing his frustration at the night. Things just weren't going well. The shots weren't going in. They just hopefully regroup, and they have Columbus coming in over the weekend. Good chance for them to get another 2 points before they head up to New Jersey to take on the Devils. One of a little bit of positive to take from yesterday's loss was the fact that the Wings were still able to maintain their first place standings in the Atlantic Division. The Lightning gained a couple of points on the Wings with their win. They had an overtime win against the Edmonton Oilers, and Ottawa had a 3-2 win over the Anaheim Ducks. But one team that wasn't able to gain any ground on the Wings was Montreal. The Habs lost 8-4 against Washington, and this was a night in which Alexander Ovechkin recorded his 33rd career hat trick, his 905th, 906th, and 907th goals, and he moved into 10th place all-time on the points list. Now, I look at those 907 goals, and I think if this guy plays till the age of 43, he could get 1,000. This guy does not slow down. This isn't a Washington Capitals channel, but every time I sit there and look at the box scores in those games and I see him at double digits already in goals for the season at the age of 40, he just rewrites the record books as far as the actual goal scoring goes. Every time he scores a goal, it just distances himself from Gretzky and a record that many believed was never going to be broken. Now, obviously, Gretzky's points record most likely will not ever be broken, certainly not by Ovechkin. He's only in 10th, and he is mountains away from that. But thank you for the hat trick last night, Ovi. keeping the Habs from moving up 2 points and moving within striking distance of the Red Wings. Now we're going to change gears and talk individually and not about teams and other divisions. We're going to talk about Red Wings players and in particular number 53, Mo Seider. Now Mo is in his 5th season, and in his first 4 NHL seasons, he's played all 82 games in each of those first 4. As a rookie, all rookie first team, Calder Trophy winner. He has 192 total points. Never once double-digit scoring and goals. Keep that in mind. He's not out there for his offensive prowess. He's a D-man, and let's take a look at the things that he really is known for. 777 blocks. You should go to Vegas with that kind of thing. And 819 hits. He's averaging just over 25 minutes on the ice, and when he's on the power play, he's on there with the big guns. And a lot of times when Larks or the Cat get a power play goal, guess who's on the assist? And you know what? Guess who's sometimes on the goal itself? Yeah, Mo. So he's there. Obviously, he's an optimal player. This is coming from a pedigree, a Red Wings franchise with a history of some of the greatest defensemen ever. Now, at the top of that list is Nicklas Lidstrom. And honestly, in my opinion, at the top of the list of all defensemen in any team in NHL history, even more than Bobby Orr himself, I throw Nicklas Lidstrom up there. But some of the other names, Vladimir Konstantinov, Vyacheslav Fetisov, Red Kelly. Now, that's going back even farther. Ebby Goodfellow. Shooting back up a little bit, somebody who is known better for their play other places, but still managed to win 2 cups with the Wings is Chris Chelios. Now, that is a name that you think of when you think of defensemen. Chelios and Lidstrom. Can you imagine? Anyway, Mo is up there in that good company, and he's got a counterpart coming up this weekend with Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets, but like he's shown, for just being in his 5th year, he seems like to be a veteran in the making. Veteran status and very mature. He obviously handles himself just fine up there on the top line. He's the guy, like I said, he's the special teams guy for defense, and he's very effective, and he is part of those power play scoring anytime you get it. So, Seider, keep up what you're doing. Have a little bit of Mo with that, Seider. And now we're coming to my favorite part of the program, the No Cap Recap, in which we take a moment from a post-game press conference and throw it into the AI slang translator. Now, tonight, usually you'll think McClellan had to say something. Larks is always down on himself and down on things when the team's not doing well, and so it's got to be from one of those two. Nah, I decided to go in a different direction. I went with JT on this one, JT Comfort. Here's what he said. We're still having nights where we give up the big mistake and make the big mistake and make it over and over again. Gibby still had to come up with some big saves throughout the game to keep that what it's at. I thought we didn't give ourselves a chance to compete for 2 points tonight. You can play really good in this league and not win. And we didn't even give ourselves a chance to do that tonight. It's inconsistency. The last few games, we were playing great 60-minute hockey. And it's hard to play 60-minute hockey or play well for 60 minutes. Todd challenged us to do that after a game like this. There's just no room to go up and down and back and forth. You're going to have stretches, periods, shifts, 5-minute segments, whatever. But when you do it for long enough, you're not going to have a chance to win. Let's throw that one into the AI translator and see what comes out the other end. We're still straight up biffing it some nights, like we keep flubbing hard and just choke over and over. Gibby still had to pull off some clutch saves all game just to keep us in it. Honestly, didn't even give ourselves a shot at snagging those 2 points tonight, bruh. You can ball out in this league and still eat dirt. But we didn't even get close tonight. It's the sketchiness, man. Last few games, we were killing it for a full 60, but it's tough to be on fire for that long, Todd's calling us out after stinkers like this. No room for that whack up and down stuff. You'll have rough patches, periods, shifts, whatever nuggets of time, but it drags on too long. Kiss any shot at a win goodbye. Now, we like to have a little fun with that AI translator, but the fact of the matter is we don't want to see another game like that where we're losing 5-0, getting shut out, and falling to the team the second time by 5 goals. So hopefully coming into this game, despite the fact that they're going up against Werenski and a team that's kind of coming into their own with the Columbus Blue Jackets, they've really had quite a showing in the last 2 seasons and have been closer and closer to a playoff appearance. So we'll see what happens with that, but I feel like Saturday will be a good opportunity for the Red Wings to get back in the positive and up mood before going up to New Jersey to take on that really tough Devils team. So until then, we'll see you after the weekend. And this is Kirk MckNight, and then you've been watching Red Wings Daily. So as I like to say, LGRW from the PNW.